Welcome, boys and girls and fans of running fast in ovals, closed courses, and those types of things, because that's what we do here, talk a lot about stuff of people running fast and in fast shoes and that sort of thing. Welcome to Mr. Rubio Used to Run, the Running Warehouse podcast. I'm your host, Joe Rubio, and my co-host here, Connor Blaylock. Yeah. And Connor, what do we got going? What has been going on in your life recently?
I mean, we've been busy traveling around, having fun, but we're back in slow, and we just had to start bringing in the fire guests because that's what the people are asking for.
I know, but one quick thing.
Okay.
I went to the World Cross Country Championships this weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did. Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay.
And that was quite the event.
Okay.
And what a lot of people, I read this crap on Let's Run, and everyone says, you know, the course sucked, or this sucks, or that sucks. Why didn't run it here, and all this stuff. Hey, folks, you need to have a local organizing committee because USATF isn't putting this thing on. They're giving out awards. Like, you got Wallace Spearman giving out awards to distance runners. I don't know what that was all about, but Wallace is a really nice guy. But regardless of that, you know, you need to have people in the community to put this event on. And I'll tell you what, Tallahassee is not my favorite spot on the planet, but the course is awesome, and the staff they have is, I've never been to an event that's been more buttoned up. I've been to a lot of Olympic trials. I've been to the Olympics. I've been to the World Championships. These guys got their act together. Yeah. I mean, from start to finish, from the people in the parking lot to the crossing guards, to everyone, the police presence. They were a little grumpy at times, it wasn't quite ice or anything like that, but, it was still, but.
Well, Joe, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Okay, I'm sorry. But the meet was great.
All right.
It was fantastic.
We'll dive in a little bit more into that.
All right. We'll do it in a later
But what
episode.
we're all here for today is the guests. I've been hearing the name more and more recently. We got 50-mile world record, 100K American record, and really the big one coming off the 100-mile Chasing 100 with Adidas. We got Charlie Lawrence. Charlie, how we doing today?
What's up, boys? Doing well. Good to be here.
Awesome.
After being slow.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
Well, and you come from, you're doing all these ultramarathons now, but you come from a marathon background, a little cross-country background. Were you watching World Cross this weekend?
I didn't watch it live. Caught the highlights. Did you jump over any gators when you were there?
No, but I did talk to the guy who made them. He was a very interesting guy.
I mean, it looked cool, but I'm like, yo, if you catch your foot wrong on this, you're going down. I think the classic XC's the logs, but I mean,
whatever.
It's a nice touch, I guess.
It was a nice touch, yeah.
That was have you ever seen a course that wild before? We had water pit, mud pit, gator jump,
sand, and the hill
water. I'm like,
that thing looked like Tidy Bowl.
What'd you throw in that?
I don't know what they threw.
I'm not running through that.
But people think it's a little quirky or I don't know, gimmicky. But the whole point of that whole thing was to break everyone's rhythm, right? It's not like running on the track and running a time trial. Mm-hmm. You're not doing the Ingebrigtsen thing. Yeah. It's like you're breaking somebody's rhythm and they got to adjust. Yeah. So the hardest part of the whole course, and I wouldn't have thought this, but from the pros, from the people in the open men's, across the board, the toughest thing was the sand. Yeah. Everyone had the hardest time with the sand. I don't know why, but everyone said that. That was the hardest part of the whole course.
Sure.
But it was awesome. It was really a really fun event. Yeah. But back to Charlie. Now, when did you start running? Because this didn't just start happening like a year ago, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have probably a long history of starting way back when you're like before puberty.
Yeah. Yeah. Been in the sport for pretty long at this point. Probably, I'm 30 now, at least 22, 23 years.
Really?
Yeah, my mom was a high school cross-country coach at my high school. So at the end of first grade, my parents ended up getting divorced. My dad was also coaching, but the cross-country team was much smaller than what my dad was coaching. So it was either go to daycare or go to cross-country practice at the start of second grade. I was a really active kid, competitive kid, kind of a spastic hothead. And I just wanted to beat everyone at everything I did, you name it. Playing horse, playing a pickup game, playing football over recess, anything. I wanted to win at it. Dodgeball, you're if you're within 10 yards, good luck. I don't care who you are. You're getting it thrown at you hard as you could get it in middle school. So second grade that fall, started going trying to beat up on the junior high kids as a second grader. And this is the first day of practice. They did a time trial. So this is 2002, 2003. Yeah. Don't exactly remember the year, but there was a mile time trial. Basically, it's half mile loop around the ball fields, kind of this nature center around our high school campus. And basically just took it to all of the middle school kids as second grade. I'm like, be pretty good at this. So,
awesome.
So been doing it kind of ever since. There are some days I go to daycare and nap, but if there's a track workout day, you bet your ass I'm lacing them up and trying to take it to them.
So where'd you go to high school at?
Foley High School, Central Minnesota. Town of 2,500 people. Pretty small, kind of a small farming community. Great place to grow up, but a place I was definitely ready to get out of.
You won a state title?
2-time state champion. Yeah, won the 3,200 my junior, senior year. Won in cross country, never got it. Was third my junior year to 2 seniors. And then was second my senior year. My freshman roommate at Minnesota, Matt Welch, got me.
Oh, no.
Still a good friend to this day.
Yeah.
But that's the one title where, again, track is cool, but like you can have that, but you always want more. And the kind of the sexy one, the big one is cross country, at least for me. When you're talking about Tallahassee, I'm like, I gotta bring it back to that because I love cross country. That's where I've definitely thrived in college. 2-timer in 2-time state champion in high school.
So what kind of times do you have in high school?
9:20, 4:15, 1:57. So right there, back in 2012, not terrible. 2013. So
solid times. But you know what's crazy? Like we keep hearing about these high school kids and how fast they're getting. Some of these kids can't even get attention with a 4:15 mile anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I would have gotten recruited back then, but also too, it's like I look back, I'm like, I ran 4:15 in 2012 in like OG victories.
Yeah.
Like just the neon green victories.
Yeah.
Like sickest shoe ever back then.
Right.
Like, bro, you throw whatever else, vapor flies or not dragonflies on my foot. Like back then, it's like
right.
I feel like I'm running 4:10, and 4:10 was like, you're doing real well there if you're running 4:10 back then.
What I do is I geek out and I look at figures. So I look at figures of how many guys broke 4 minutes in the mile, say in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
And compared to now, and you count the same number of people, say it might be 15 people, and you go 15 people deep in the U.S., and that's a 351 mile. So 351 mile is worth a 4-minute mile in my book.
Yeah.
So you get these kids that are running 358, and if you add 9 seconds, it's about a 407 mile. So it's about, right?
Yeah. Well, even my freshman year at Minnesota, like we were talking on the team, like if you can run 4 flat or even like 401 low, like you might get selected to run the mile because you have guys that run the 3K that have broke 4, close to, guys that run the 5K done that. It's like, might still be able to sneak in. That was 2013, 2014. Just again, times have changed, man. So
technology's changed.
Yeah.
So you went to University of Minnesota?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was recruited by Coach Placentia there.
He's awesome.
I pretty much knew as soon as he called me in the summer of 2012 after my junior year, pretty much knew that was where I was going. Because they just had a hell of a program. Grew up on, watching Hassan Mead, Ben Blankenship, Chris Rombo, like that whole crew, even like, not Sean Carlson, he's now the coach of Louisville. I can't remember his name, but they had just a hell of a program under Plaz, and obviously Plaz was a great go for himself. So I committed there pretty early on the fall of 2012. And that was probably the best decision I made for my running career, in my opinion. So Plaz is that's still my guy. So
he's awesome. I mean, for those who don't know, I mean, in the 90s, he was really good.
Yeah, 2-time Olympian, 1990 U.S. 10K champion. Almost made his third team at the age of 40 in the marathon, was fourth. Just a stud, like kind of a hothead, just like me. Super fiery, intimidating as all hell, but like you had to respect him. And again, you're almost scared of him to an extent, but you knew that he was going to get you to where you wanted to go for the most part. So
right.
Yeah, I feel like coaches like that, they don't work for everyone, but for the people they do work for, it's just like it's perfect. And
and don't get me wrong. I mean, we were at each other's throats. I mean, like there were times where like I think this was probably a year ago now. Like I've told the story about Plaz getting on me, and he's like, and he joked, and I sent him the podcast. I forgot which one it was on, but he's like, dude, I'm happy I'm not coaching anymore. I think I get fired after what you said on that podcast. But I mean, there are times where we're face to face screaming at each other, and he's like, be in my effing office in an hour. And then, eventually we both calmed down and stuff. But I mean, just like nobody loved Minnesota more than Plaz. And that was his life, that program. I mean, forgot how many straight NCAA championship appearances, 15 plus, just a great program at that time. So growing up in the state of Minnesota, you grew up wanting to run for the Gophers. So I'll probably say it 10 more times, but yeah, Plaz is my guy. So.
And were you primarily focused on cross and track?
In college?
Yeah.
Yeah. going in, probably my biggest goal is just like try to be the best in the Big Ten, compete in the Big Ten for all Big Ten. Then hopefully that translates to all region, all American. My goal going in was I want to be an all American in cross country. Ultimately never got that, but was all Big Ten, all region multiple times. Had some injuries the last couple of years, which really I think obviously diminished my chances greatly, and I just had some illnesses too that was just poor timing. But yeah, I was top 10 in the Big Ten my junior year, all region in the Midwest a couple times. So, and I remember Plaz too, just him motivating me and stuff. I remember like him recruiting me, and obviously I thought I was a hothead coming from a small school, so it's pretty easy to look pretty good when you're running. You know, you go to these dual meets or quad meets and stuff. I'm running 10:30 for 3,200 meters, and I'm winning by 90 seconds. You know, like it's not hard to look at. He's like, well, you know, this is the Big Ten. You know, you're gonna have to, you know, maybe by your third year you can be scoring, maybe. You know, and me just coming in and thinking like, bro, do you know who you're talking to right now? And again, it was just like he just knew how to push my buttons. But again, he ultimately got me to, you know, pretty close to, I think, my full potential, especially early on. Again, the injuries, you can't really help that. I think us putting our heads together, I definitely think we could have gotten there, but I probably went even above what he had hoped in the summers and put myself just in holes and then injuries, and that's not fun. So, but again, it's like I'd rather shoot for it and kind of miss, deal with the consequences, than even not go for it all. It's kind of how I've done it in my career thus far. And again, it's mostly ended in not accomplishing exactly what I want, but it's like you're still gonna hopefully get fitter and give yourself a better chance of getting that. So again, you kind of live and die by that. But
I feel like every runner, I mean, we're all competitive runners here at one point in our lives.
Yeah.
But like it is kind of that pushing the limits and like seeing how far you can go. And like I think there's been several times where looking back, it's so easy. That was way too much, but you don't really know what is too far till you've gone too far.
Yeah, and even just now, you know, jumping ahead a little bit, it's like, you know, I'm like, do I need to go 160, like 160 miles a week? It's like, bro, you've done 150, done well off of it. It's like, you know, what's the point? Still trying to keep intensity in there. It's like, it's just that give and take. And even throughout college, you know, Plaz was like, yeah, let's keep you at, you know, 100 in the summer. And I'm like, I think I'm good at 105, 110. So I'd, you know, string that out. And again, by the end, you're injured and pulling just to be, you know, scoring on a Big Ten squad, or just trying to still be all Big Ten and stuff. And you might not be if you've, you know, burnt a little too much. So, but that's a sport you live and learn. And that was a good thing with Plaz is, again, early on, again, he kept me pretty dialed back and very brought me up very progressively and pretty methodically. And at the end, I was like, we had that enough trust the last couple of years. Like, I think you can push a little more. And I think I push it too much because he gave me probably too much leash. But again, that's you learn.
So you're running well now at the end of college. Are you starting to think pro running is a thing? Or at what point did you realize you could make a career out of this?
Honestly, not till my marathon debut post-collegiately, because I was good. Like top 10 in the Big Ten in cross country. Like it's, you know.
You're solid.
I'm racing I'm like Morgan McDonald, you know, you're racing like Olin Hacker, like Ollie. You know, Big Ten was stacked. It was tough. So for me, Plaza, I was like, because I could just, didn't really matter the race, especially cross country, because it's just, you're just brawling yourself there trying to compete with people. It's like if I was in a group, let's say it's, you know, I'm trying to think who else is in these races, even just like a Morgan, but basically until Morgan would make his move, McDonald's like, I'm in there fighting, you know, and it's like, then I'm just brawling with the rest of the guys. But it's like, if I could just hang on to a group, I could hang on the entire time and probably outkick them or just outfight them the last K. And Plaza, like, you know, that's just toughness, and like that'll translate well to the road. Like you're going to be quote unquote great on the roads one day, whatever that meant. It's up for interpretation. I'm like, yeah, I'll probably do a marathon, do this. But yeah, didn't have any pro offers after college. But I'm like talking to Plaz, I was like, you know, what do you think about doing the Gary Broken half marathon? And because I didn't make the national meet my 5th year. He's like, yeah, I think that'd be good. Like just continue training. So we'll get ready for that. That was June 2018. That went well enough. Ran 64:14, which for me, I was like, everyone's like, what do you want to run? I'm like, I don't know, maybe 66, 65 would be a good day. And then 64 low. I'm like, sick. That's
pretty good.
That's great. Yeah. And then, you know, instantly I finished, people like, dude, you should be able to OTQ out. Like, that's pretty indicative of doing that. And kind of a credit to Plaza again is like throughout college, was like, all right, 70 miles, 80 miles, 90, you know, 100, 110, like just built me up progressively, been able to handle pretty high load for, you know, college back then. I was like, hey, like, do you think makes sense to like do a marathon off of this? I think it'd be cool to just qualify for the trials. Like, just get an OTQ, then I can go go get a real job and, do my thing. I was working full-time in ticket sales then actually for the Gophers post-collegiately. So throughout that summer, I was working full-time, finishing my master's degree and then building up for CIM. And then CIM 2018 went well enough, ran 2:16:10 in my debut, which is truthfully probably the last good time to run 2:16 to be of like a fantastic marathon debut.
Yeah.
And then the next week I'm on the phone with Kevin Hansen, Ben Rosario, and Kevin flew me out basically 2 weeks later. Saw the Detroit area up there, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. You can't not do this. Even just talking to Plaz, talking to my boss at Minnesota Ticket Sales, Ryan Dillon, like, dude, you can always come back to this stuff. Like, you can come back to college sports. Because I ultimately wanted to be like, I want to be an upper administration, a Division I athletic director one day. That was my goal back then. But like, dude, you got to take a chance on this.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely owe a lot to Kevin Hansen. It ultimately I didn't give it long enough. Looking back, I was there for a year and a half.
Right.
Just through the 2020 trials, but.
So you're training with Jake?
Riley?
Yeah.
So Jake had left. He was already in Boulder by then.
Okay.
But yeah, I was kind of going through an interesting Hansen's transition period. So like Dathan was there, which is cool, but Dathan was living in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So me growing up, I mean, I watched Galen, I watched Dathan, I watched Centro. Like that Nike group, even like the OTC guys, like Hossie was there, Will Lear, Aish, like people that I know at this point look up to a ton. But it was like, especially Dathan being, it's like, holy shit, I mean, with Dathan Ritzenhein. So instantly jumped on that. Shadrack Biwat was also there. Ian Lemire, Trent Lusignan, Mike Morgan.
Some good dudes.
Some great dudes, yeah. It was just like, and Zach Panning had actually just joined probably a few months before I left, but Zach was still kind of doing the shorter stuff, hadn't made his marathon debut yet. But yeah, I was with them through the 2020 trials, and I think I was just still kind of, I don't want to say stubborn, stuck in my ways, but I just didn't, obviously I bought in, did the work, but I just ran 2:20 at the trials as my second marathon, and I'm like, I don't know if this was the right fit. I felt a little gassed on the line at the trials in 2020, so I ended up moving to Boulder after that, but that was kind of the post-collegiate to Hansen's, qualifying for the trials. And again, wouldn't be here without Kevin Hansen. Like, still talked to Kevin in November. His birthday is 2 days after my dad, so I always text him happy birthday, so hard to forget that. Definitely at this point in my career in 2020, huge credit again to Plaz and Kevin for getting me to that point. So. And
then you went to Boulder?
Moved to Boulder, yeah.
Was there any reason? More just altitude and...
Because it seems like right now it's like there's the two camps. There's the Flagstaff crew and the Boulder.
Yeah.
And I'm sure probably both of those were in the running for like an altitude training.
Yeah, and truthfully for me, the biggest piece was Will Lear's, like a longtime family friend of my family, at least my aunt, her husband was like, if this makes sense, was great friends with Chuck Lear, Will's dad. So I've known Will since like middle school. Just on and off would, shoot him messages, like questions and all this. And I have pictures all the way back in like 2008, 2009 with Will. So I remember calling Will after the trials in 2020, still living in Michigan. It's been like, hey dude, thinking about moving to Boulder. What are your thoughts? It's like, I mean, I think it'd be great. And I think with Will, he's just kind of like, he said it in the nice way, but he's like, yeah, you've run well, but it's like, you're not quite there, because if you want to chase it, it's probably the place to do it. And had heard just through Dathan that he was probably going to take this job with On, like really wasn't OAC yet, but I'm like, sounds cool. And I was like, knowing Dathan, looking up to him, I was like, sounds like a great place. And it was just this magical place, had this lore to it. It's not a slight at the guys, they're friends of mine, but like Tin Man was like at its peak then too. Like they were firing on all cylinders. So it was like, yeah, this could be a good place. And I didn't necessarily want to. I'd been to like Denver a couple times, had run at altitude. My buddy was in Colorado Springs as well, and that was like 6,000. Had done a couple of sessions there. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go up to 7,000 feet. Boulder's 55-ish. So I ended up moving. Basically, decided to move out there like kind of on a whim after the trials, like June 2020. And this is intentionally, like I literally moved like a block away from Will and Aisha from their place, and like just because Will's at that point was like a big brother to me, still is. I was literally texting him yesterday about, yo, you ever been to SOL or SLO and know any places to run? So, so that's kind of what solidified the Boulder move. So I didn't know people as well in Flagstaff, so it was just like had kind of a longtime family friend and had that
Will there,
that comfort in a way. Yeah.
I saw Will. We were golfing at in Eugene.
How was the game?
It was actually good, and then he was giving
That,
it was
no.
good. It was actually pretty good. I mean, the thing was
that's-
is I was waiting for this buddy of mine, and then Will took off, and then we saw him somewhere else. He goes, "What the hell took you guys so long?" So we had to have a beer and all that kind of stuff, before the start. Yeah,
I don't know if it's Will's golf game is good or Joe's is just
not
a little below.
less, a little less than that. But yeah, Will's a cool dude.
Yeah, literally one of my favorite people. So I mean, if I had if I was in jail, I had to get out call, I'd probably call Will over my girlfriend, just because. I mean, Will he would never let me live it down, but yeah,
But he'd get you out.
Oh yeah, he would get me out no matter what. So
When right now we've got this whole new, social media and Instagram, and all the kids know, your Grant Fisher, your Cole Hawker, but Will Lear during our time, he was kind of like the Prefontaine, he was just the cool runner. Maybe he didn't quite have the super fast times, but he was good, and he just he had that cool factor that I think, what was it? You had him sign that pair of spikes for me when I was in high school.
I got him to. Was it for high school?
Oh, no,
It was
out of college, my sister's wedding.
Your sister's wedding. So she asked me to get a present for him for being in the wedding. And so I contacted Will, and he signed some spikes for me.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny now just being that close to Will. But yeah, in high school I had, a signed pic, from Will. And his contact photo on my phone is still from Milrose 2013 with the beard when he won Milrose with the pistols. I mean, that's my guy, man.
Sweet. The other thing I like about Boulder versus Flagstaff is it's pretty close to Denver. So there's it's not right next door, but it's close. It's closer than Phoenix is to Flagstaff.
Yeah, and
there's something to do.
And that as well too. I mean, for me, I pretty much lock myself in Boulder. I stay in the Boulder bubble. I remember running with Drew Hunter. Right when I first moved, there's yeah, man, it's a Boulder bubble. People never leave, and I'm I don't know, what do you mean, bro? And then now that I've lived there, especially just training full time, it's my full time job. My girlfriend hates it, but yeah, I never leave. I lock myself in my house when I'm not training. Basically, run the same routes with the same guys. Yeah. Go to the same workout spots. But it's very conducive to for me and my schedule and what I need to get out of training. But yeah, that's Flagstaff. I mean, I'm not knocking Flag. It's not Boulder, but I mean,
no, it's different though. But I've only been to Flagstaff once.
Yeah,
and it was everywhere I went was all about distance running. I live distance running, right?
Yeah.
There comes a point when you go, okay, enough. I can't see all these people, and everyone's talking about running everywhere you go. The grocery store, the coffee shop, and everything. And I didn't get that feeling at Boulder. There's some space.
Again, not a slight of Flag. There's just more stuff to do. Again, Denver's right there. You can get to DIA way quicker than you can get to Sky Harbor, or you want to fly to Flagstaff to get to Sky Harbor and then take a flight out.
17-minute flight.
Nah, yeah, I'm good, but still, it's I don't want to get on another plane. That's just unnecessary.
Right.
So, the altitude's for me been perfect, at least for training. It took a while to honestly dial in the paces. That was a bit of a shock to the system where it's usually I could run 5 flat for extended reps for a while. Now it's if I'm running, 5 flat for a 3-mile rep, I'm usually working pretty hard to do that, but it's I know I'm at altitude, so it's kind of take that with as you will, and it's you're still in a good spot. And so also you have that little buffer. I was telling Connor off air before I got here, I just did a session this morning, and I'm coming off of my last race, kind of just getting into workouts now, and I'm felt pretty out of shape the last week getting into it, and then ran pretty good splits morning. I'm oh yeah, you're actually not in that bad of shape. Sea level just helps you a lot. So
yeah, exactly, gives you a little bit of advantage there.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you're running really well in the marathon, but maybe not quite to that that elite 210 and under, but you're running good. At what point did you say, maybe I'll go a little bit longer, maybe I'll see if my endurance is more favorable to that ultramarathon distance?
Yeah, so this was a shout to Des actually. So throughout my time at Hanson's, kind of right when I first joined, I'd actually known Ryan, her husband, literally one of my best friends to this day. We talk at least every day over Instagram DMs, text at least once a week. Even Des was out of town the other week. My girlfriend was out of town the other week, so we talked on the phone last Thursday, Friday for 40 minutes, just whatever. So, but basically getting back to it, got to know Ryan pretty well with my time in Michigan. Then I got to know Des a little bit, and right when I joined Hanson's, Des had just over Instagram, was hey, welcome to the Brooks family. If you ever need anything, let me know. Have to grab a beer, grab some grub, whatever at some point. So just kind of kept in touch. When I moved to Boulder, and then COVID hit, obviously, which is, you know, kind of a wild time. Races canceled, and just keeping up with Des every few weeks, every month. Just like, hey, like, what are you gonna do race wise? Like, obviously, Boston 2021 is gonna be canceled. It's like, I think I'm gonna go for the 50K world record. And me, I was just like, all right, well, if I can help in any capacity, like, let me know, whatever that meant. Like, hopefully she would just take me up on it. Wasn't sure, but ultimately, like, came to like, hey, we're gonna do this on probably this day in April. I need a pacer. Like, would you want to do that? It was like, yeah, like, I mean, there's no races to do. Like, sake, that'd be great. Like, and this is the point too, throughout even my time, like in college, like I could go automatic 20-mile 6-flat pace, automatic. At Hanson's, there's a run down in Florida pre-trials where I was with Shadrack, and like Shadrack like stopped to hit the bathroom, and he just goes like, sorry, I'm taking a tangent here, but he just goes, he's like, I'm gonna hit the bathroom, like I'll catch up to you. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean you're gonna catch up? And I ran 22 at like 5:27 pace, and just like with a 3-mile push, I think the push was like maybe 5:10 or so. Like, took advantage of the downhills, but like average, like ripped it. He never caught me, and he's like, and Shadow was, dude, you're really good. Oh, you're good at those. I'm like, yeah, I'm good at these. So since, you know, college to Hanson's to like my time in Boulder, it was just, you want to go run 6-minute pace? I can do that all day. You name it. So Des had obviously seen that. You know, I'd do the classic watch pick after a run of, you know, 20 at 5:45, and just like easy money, you know, like just that stuff. Obviously you start working pretty hard at some point, but again, it's like you start seeing the end of a run, you can keep holding 5:30s, 5:40s, work it down. So I'm like, yeah, I can run 5:47 pace for 31 miles. Should be pretty easy. I've run 2:16. So went there. Ultimately, Des got the women's 50K world record, like first woman ever under 3 hours. She still holds it. And yeah, we went 5:47 pace for the 50K. And in my head, I'm like, well, I didn't really taper for this. Like, I doubled the day before, and I ran 5:47 pace for 31 miles. Like, I think I could do that for another 19 in my head. So kind of this flip switched at that point in 2021. I'm like, yeah, I think I can. Like, Jim has the record at 4:50.08, I think it was, and that's.
Yeah, I think I was there. I think he did it in Sacramento.
Yeah. So yep, Northern California. Yep. And I'm like, I think I can do that. I think I can get that. So then this was later on that fall. This is also like another name. I was having just dinner with Fernando Cabada out in just Denver. Like, drove down to have that place that he liked, and he was still with Hoka at the time, and they had just done that project earlier at some point, or maybe it was the Carbon X or the second one. It was one of the second ones. I was like, dude, I think I want to go. Like, I think I'm gonna break the 50-mile world. I think I can do that. He's like, if you do it, go do it at Tunnel Hill. I was like, oh, why is that? And he kind of talked about the course, like, oh, it's uphill on the backside, but you know, you turn around and you have this downhill, and it's basically pretty flat over the course of 50 miles. So I'm like, cool, I'll plan on that. Long story short, ended up getting injured. Basically, I had a grade 4 sacral stress fracture the fall of, not like early winters, like right after the Houston half, 2022. So I missed 13 months between January 2022 to February 2023. Tried to come back too early, like basically rebroke. But that was my goal. I'm like, I want to break the 50-mile world record. So spent the first half of 2023 basically just getting healthy. Fitness was nowhere like where I wanted to be. It was like 5-minute pace was like a dream to run 5-minute pace. It was just like nothing was coming that well. I ended up joining Roots Running over that course of like kind of that injury. Just because like those are some of my best friends. Like at the time, like Parker Stinson, Sydney Getabuti, Noah Droddy, obviously, Frank Lara, my buddy Austin Dahlquist. Like those were like
it's a good marathon.
Those were like my best friends at the time, such like Dahlquist, Droddy. And I was like, man, might as well hop in. Like the training will kind of figure out itself. And ultimately, this is not a slight at the program. Like I love those guys, love Richie still. Richie and I just didn't necessarily agree on the training aspect of it. And he's like, we're a pure marathon group. If you want to go do the ultra stuff, like you can do it, just not do it with us. Which I kind of think I could have made it work, but again, I get it. So I ended up leaving those guys the summer of 2023 and was only there for about a year. Kind of through my injury, got healthy, and results just weren't there. I mean, I ran like Bloomsday, ran Gary Broken half, and it was like 65:40. Bloomsday averaged like 5:01 pace, was like suffering the entire time.
Isn't your PR like at the time was 64:45 14 or something like that.
64:14. Yeah. So, dude, that's still my PR, which is
okay.
No,
but to be like a minute and whatever, 15, 20 seconds off is not great.
Yeah, and this again, there's just like we do fast reps, but it's like we're doing it off 3 minutes rest. Like that's the splits look great on paper, but it's like, you're fresh as all get out for this. So for me, I was like, I think, and this is talking to Plaz, even talking to Dez, I was up in Michigan the summer of 2023, ran the Ryan Shea Mile, actually was staying with Ryan and Dez, ran 4:11 there. That was my last race with Roots. And just talking to Dez and even calling Plaz on my drive up from Detroit up to Charlevoix, I'm like, I think I'm going to leave. I just it's not clicking. I want to do these ultra things because I think I can go get this truthfully. And yeah, basically ended up coming back to practice, Roots practice that next day. Rich and I ended up just ripping into each other at practice. Dradi had to break it up. It was kind of funny. And I'm like, I'm not coming back. So that's all that. And again, I saw Richie at the Marathon Project. We talk, we keep in touch, but it's just the coach athlete just didn't work out. So that next fall, long story short, went out and ran Tunnel Hill. Also ran a marathon that fall. Tied my PR to the exact second as a glorified workout a month prior to Tunnel Hill. That was McCurdy micro, and then Tunnel Hill was basically exactly 4 weeks later.
It's awesome.
So got the 50 mile there. So that was 2023, which is wild that it's over 2 years ago now.
Yeah. Well, and it's I feel like not a lot of these elite or sub-elite marathon runners are even considering it an option to do some of these longer races. So that is pretty cool to see someone with your skill set go into that. And it seems like there's still probably a lot more potential to get with some of these records.
Hope so, man. Yeah, I think looking back now, especially on coming off my 100K now, I think I underperformed to an extent, but with that 50, I was pretty stoked. I mean, there was a point during the 50 mile, I'm like, dude, I'm going to run 440. I'm running 442. And the legs just didn't hold up beyond 38 to 40 really got hard. The last 8 were pretty brutal, but it's had enough time in the bank to get it done. And yeah, hopefully just and I think we're starting to see it a little bit. My buddy Ryan Root, who was on Roots, he's a 215 guy. He's jumping into ultras. We saw Brogan, Austin, CIM champ 2018, US Marathon champ, run Tunnel Hill this year. A bit of a learning curve. I mean, truthfully, I don't. It was the best and worst thing that's ever happened to me. It was me going on my first 50 miler and beating Jim's time and getting the world record of almost 2 minutes. So I'm like, see, this is easy. Look at this. I can do this all
Child's
day.
play.
Yeah. But it's again, it just worked out and I ran it well enough and to hold on. But yeah, one thing I've learned at least over the last couple of years that it's the last 2 years is that there's your marathon time won't necessarily be the exact predictor. You'd like it to be, but it's basically a different sport in my experience beyond 35, 38 miles, just the muscle demand and the muscle breakdown. So it's kind of take whereas a marathon, even 50K, it's basically pretty similar. Even a 50K, people are
similar to a half marathon versus a marathon, right?
Yeah.
It's you can be a really good 10K runner and run a hell of a half marathon, but it doesn't necessarily translate into being a great marathon.
Yeah. So, but that's what I found. But I think if you can run a good marathon, at least for me, I still try to stay pretty marathon fit. And I think that being able to run 5:10 pace for as long as I can will make 5:40, 5:50 pace feel pretty easy for as long as I can. So, but I think we're starting to see that where, again, hopefully we were talking again earlier before this, where it's the sport keeps kind of growing in that aspect, getting guys that are, I won't say fringe marathoners, but guys that are, borderline OTQ, can't quite break 216, but can put up a 220 and maybe they have a hell of an engine. It can translate and hopefully, again, grow the sport, make it more competitive on the ultra side.
I think some more exposure would be good too, because I just don't think a lot of the people are aware that you can do, basically it's a track race.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone's thinking of ultras and thinking Western States or UTMB.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
No.
They're two different sports, right?
No,
and that's the thing too, or even for me, I've run a 50, I've run a 100K. Even for me, I'm mentally, I'm I've been, 5 hours, 6 hours. Then you see Western States 14 hours, that is forever. Judging, again, it's just a different race. The muscle demand is so different.
Power hiking and
and I joke with my trail friends, I'm like, you ran 9-minute pace for that? Joke 7,000, 8,000 feet of air. I'm like, so easy. Obviously it's not
you have the agility aspect of it. And
I'd roll an ankle, pop an ankle so quick. It's I just don't have that technical. I think you can obviously train that, but I don't have that in my training at this point. I mean, eventually I'd love to move up and take a stab at Western States. I don't want to sound lazy, but I'd love to just try to get a ticket or just have an entry to Western States. I don't want to necessarily go out and like run Javelina, just run Javelina. Judging, it's a cool event. Jamil does an awesome job in Air Vipa, but yeah, it's just kind of different sports from a marathon to like a road 50, road 100K, and then especially to a Western States or I mean, I don't even want to say like the, Moabs or like, 240 miles. Like if you're out there for days, man, like no shot you get me doing that. So
I got you. But I do think if the sport, your discipline gets more exposure, it'll turn the lights on for guys who are, 216, 218, 220.
Oh yeah.
The guys saying women's side, 235 to 245, something in that range.
Yeah. I mean, even selfishly too, with Kipchoge announcing after New York that he wants to do like a 50K or what, I'm still waiting to figure out where that is. Like I've like gone down just the Google wormhole of like trying to figure out like one, like who's offering him this, where's the race? Cause I mean, like I'd love to try to get down on something like that. Cause I mean, like you see Kipchoge even just dabbling a 50K, like, that's a road ultra. Hopefully that starts to trickle down too. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a big name like that, or even, Dez stepping into it now a little bit. So I think that just brings a lot of popularity with it as well. So
do you coach yourself or Plaz help you? Or?
I mostly self-coach, but if I have questions, Plaz or Dez are text away. So, and the thing with both of them, they both know me well enough where they can be like, stop overthinking it, like just do this, or like, no, that's completely stupid. Like, what are you thinking? No. So they're both super, super reasonable, but yeah, they're my two.
They're like the voice of reason?
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's just kind of funny. Some of the texts I'll send Plaz, I'll basically send him basically the same workout on paper. It's like, K's or 800s, this and that. He's like, it's like, looks like about the same workout to me, man. I don't know, maybe do that one this week and that one the next week. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks, bro. So, sounds good.
Is there a basic rotation you follow? It's like VO2 work one day and then maybe short tempo stuff the next and then long tempo.
Yeah, I kind of build off like a 2-week cycle.
Yeah.
Let's throw it that way. So I'll kind of do the classic like Tuesday, Friday, Sunday steady. Yeah. And that'll be like 25 at 5:30 to 5:45, somewhere in there. And then I'll like double for 5, so get a 30-mile day. And that usually is kind of fatiguing, just going the Tuesday, Friday to that. So then I'll give myself an extra day and then go Wednesday, Saturday that next week. Usually like probably something a little quicker Wednesday and shorter. Go back to another big session, like a 4x4 miles or something, like pretty aggressive again, running 5:10 to 5:15 for those. And then go back to the Tuesday, Friday.
Right.
Or Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. So that's kind of how I do it.
And you said you're aiming right now around that 150 mile is the sweet spot of peak, or have you messed around with going a little higher?
Yes and no. I mean, I unintentionally ran a 158 the fall of 2024. Just kind of how the week broke up with going like a Wednesday to Saturday, and then like another medium long on that Sunday, and also medium long on that Thursday, with like a shakeout to get 20-20, and then the other days were almost 30-30. And then my even recovery days are another 14 and 5 or 14 4, 14 5, however that splices out. Ended up like 2024 was a rough year. I torn plantar, partially torn Achilles, and torn labrum. So I was just grabbing for whatever I could last year. And I think now I'm still trying to do like the pretty intense sessions during that build. So like, for me, it's like with that volume, I can't necessarily maintain the intensity that I want to do. So really, I think the sweet spot is probably 140, 145. Like this summer leading up to Nardo, I went 155, 150, 150, 145 for 4 weeks, basically like 4 to 8 weeks out. And by the end, especially like the end of the 5th week, I think I went down to like 135. I remember doing a workout and I couldn't run like 5:30 pace. I was just gassed 3 weeks out from Italy because I was also doing the intense work. So it's that line, like I think probably like where I could probably hit that quality, also get enough volume. I think probably 130 where I know I can hit the quality, but it's like kind of the name of the game is running on really tired legs. But also I still want to get that marathon type quality. So didn't really answer your question, but it's probably somewhere in the.
Well, and I'm sure it's a big learning game because you are trying to figure out how it fits in the cycle, and like you said, injuries they come up, and what I hear, Achilles, labrum, plantar, and then a little bit earlier you had a sacral stress fracture.
Yeah, that was 2023, and even when I had my MRI in 2024 of my labrum, which popped up right before the trials in 2024, they also found a stress fracture in my pelvis. I didn't even know it was there. You didn't even know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, even now coming my last race, I know I'm jumping, but like my hip is pretty jacked up from this last race on the track because I strained it this fall lifting. there's just always something. My doctor's like, yeah, let's get an MRI of your hip like right now. And I'm just like, I don't want to. It's manageable. Like yeah, it gets kind of mad after some like harder sessions, but like after the longer threshold stuff, it's fine. If I do too many like track reps, yeah, it'll start screaming at me. But like, you're gonna find something. I already know like both the labrum was severely torn, got PRP in it. Like it has bone spurs on it. It's cutting the cartilage no matter what. The other one was torn as well. Like I know you're gonna find like some other stuff that's just like, yo, you probably should stop. So I'm scared of hopping in an MRI machine now. But yeah, it's finding that kind of sweet spot where it's like I can hit the quality, not beat myself up, like not get injured. And again, it's always like you're always susceptible to it, just running that volume, that intensity.
Yeah, but if you're able to get a couple seasons under your belt, like 2 or 3 years, where you get that resilience, you just get that background, just the consistent over time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably the magic sauce,
the
right?
Lifetime Fitness, and that even with Hanson, go back to Mike Morgan, even Dez, it's like, yeah, Lifetime Fitness is a real thing. Like, it doesn't really go away. And even when I was injured that year to 2022 to early 2023, it was like I was cross-training a minimum of like 20 hours a week, bike and pool, like hammering it. And I was like, all right, dude, let's go hit a 100-miler on Zwift. It's like, that shouldn't, like, ultimately the goal is like, all right, I want to try to get going to ultras. It's like, all right, so a 4-hour ride, 5-hour ride should not bother you if you're trying to run for 4 hours and change, or almost 5 hours at 5:45 pace. So that was kind of the mentality I took with that. And even then, it wasn't running specific; it was just aerobic building. So, and yeah, at this point, it's been pretty healthy. I mean, for this last year, pretty healthy. I mean, again, there's still stuff like my Achilles. I feel that every day. I get shockwave on that almost weekly.
Wow.
Feel my hip right now, but it's like it's always kind of something nagging, but it's like it's all manageable. So it's like. Try to keep going. Again, like, yeah, I can mostly train on tendon muscle stuff. Obviously, when you get into stress or like bone injuries, that's where you get to major time off. So, but yeah, I've been fortunate to.
And then weight room,
that.
Do you get in the weight room?
Minimum twice a week, very specific weight work.
And do you have your own, you got a personal weight room at your place?
I have my own gym.
Yeah, that's
it's
nice.
Great. Yeah, so I have a platform, trap bar, got a full like squat rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my Zwift set up down there. I got treadmill, steam room in the garage. So yeah, I have basically everything I need. Like I go to Lifetime just to use an actual sauna. I was debating getting a sauna for my place, but the delivery time for the one I wanted was like several weeks, and I needed to be like doing heat protocol this summer ASAP. But yeah, I got basically
you doing just runs on the treadmill in the heat, or are you doing threshold stuff?
Depends. So I like if you have like a really terrible weather day and I need to do a session, I'll go on the treadmill. And I can do 95% of the stuff I need. Like my treadmill goes full 48 pace. But yeah, this summer, our garage is south-facing and it's exposed with a patio above it. And it's just a black kind of top above it. So in the summer, like it just bakes. The sun just cooks it. So in the summer, getting ready for Italy, I would turn my steam room on, like leave the door open, smoke it out, and then do like a sessions on my treadmill. Versus like going in my sweatsuit. I would also do that a couple times a week. Obviously then sauna protocol as well. But yeah, I can kind of do whatever I need to within my house, basically, which is great.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
You don't need to have an altitude house because you live in altitude.
Exactly. I'll say this: I do sleep in my altitude tent.
No way.
On occasion, yeah. So I'm in it right now. Didn't bring it with me for the trip. I'm only gone for 2 nights, but yeah, I do go in and out of my altitude tent periodically in builds.
So are you going up higher? So what are you at altitude now, and then what are you sleeping at?
So Boulder's, my house is at 5,370 feet. I put it up to, right now it's at 10,000 feet, but I'll get it up to 11,500 probably by next week or so. And I just kind of do that in the base part of like my builds just to like just build like my red blood cells, get my hematocrit up, get my red blood cell count up, hemoglobin, all that. So, and I've through just blood tests, it works. So, I mean, I take iron multiple times a day. Obviously red meat minimum 3 times a week. Obviously got to be heavy carbohydrates and just be in a caloric surplus in a way to make sure I'm building the red blood cells. So, got to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
And
the heat training also helps that too.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm doing like minimum sauna 4 times a week post second run. So yeah, I try to check all the boxes, and it's just one of the things where, if I have the ability to do it, like I'm gonna do it to hopefully get the most I can out of training. So, but yeah, it's great. It's kind of nice. Again, I feel terrible. Like you don't feel great in the altitude tent. Like you just don't recover as well. You don't sleep as well. Wake up a few more times during the night. But when I get into workout, especially in Boulder, it's like, whereas I might kind of fade in a workout or like press and you just maintain on a rep, it's like you can actually like gas it and like negative split or pick it up a little bit, which is something I've initially when I moved to Boulder in 2020 wasn't able to do in sessions. So yeah, definitely a tool that's been pretty useful for me. And yeah, again, that's one thing that I bother Dathan with. I don't bother him a ton. He's really busy, but I'll, hit him with altitude questions and intent questions, because he was, Alberto and those guys, they am just dialed with that stuff back in the day. So
as far as nutrition, you seem pretty dialed with your nutrition.
Yeah, I eat the same thing pre-run, same thing post-run, same lunch, and then dinner vary as long as I get like heavy carbohydrates, high quality protein, and a veggie. I'm good. Have yogurt with granola before bed. Yeah, same protein shake. Even here, I went to Whole Foods just after I landed. Got my spinach, bananas, blueberries. Got my brought my baggied protein powder. Made sure I had basically my, I was hand fisting spinach after my run this morning, but, make the same smoothie and stuff. So
it's always fun going on the airplane with your hand bagged protein powder. You always get some looks from the TSA.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This was great. This time, great. DIA right through. But yeah, sometimes they're like,
the hell's this?
Looking at it, or like, I have gels with me too. And they're just like, sometimes it's, it's under or 3 ounce, but they'll still like, it'll trigger something. Or I'll travel with like a banana or even like an apple that'll get pulled, and they're just like apple. I'm like, yep. I'm like, have at it. Sure.
Yeah. I can understand the spikes, like when you have them in your backpack.
Yeah.
That gets
weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weapon, right? What is this thing?
Yeah.
You're going to attack somebody with your track spikes.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, okay, we hear all these little things you're doing, from like nutrition, altitude, all this stuff leads to these big performance races. And the big one recently was Chasing 100. We heard about it, but unfortunately, I feel like we didn't hear a lot about it till after the event. But can you give us the behind the scenes?
Well, even then, I think Adidas needs to up their game on this whole thing, right? I mean, come on, let us in on the secret.
Yeah, I know. Because it was a really cool event.
It was awesome. But, if we're going to increase the exposure of the event, like we've got to increase the exposure of the event, right?
Yeah, it was, I just going back, it was pretty cool to get an email from Spencer, because it's, like after my 50 mile, it was like, all right, like, hopefully we're getting some brands to come to the table. Ultimately I did, but they didn't come to the table with an offer I was stoked on. And then Spencer just ended up like getting my email through kind of a mutual friend, reached out initially. It was like, hey, there's this project, and like, we can chat like, multi-year stuff if you're interested. So, and for me, it was like, I was tired of doing like, not necessarily one-off stuff, but like had a 6-month contract, had a little package with Under Armour in 2022, 23, had another package with Puma the back end of 2024. It's like, yo, are we going to like extend this? What's the deal? Like, again, it's great. It keeps you in the sport. Like you can make a living doing it, but it's like, I want something sustainable for a long term. And this ultimately like something that we were able to get with this Nardo event. So for me, it was a no-brainer. When you have Adidas coming on, they're like, yeah, it's going to be, think of, the past project we've seen at the marathon distance. We're going to do this for an ultra distance. And for me, like the last 2 years, I've made a career out of trying to chase these records. Judging it wasn't an official one, but it's like, it's still cool to say, you could be the first person to break 6 hours at the 100K. Like everyone says, who's the first person to break? Someone will eventually break, 2-hour barrier in the marathon officially, but right now it's Kipchoge. Like, I don't think, if you ask a general person who might follow running, like just kind of on the fringe, it's like they're probably going to say Kipchoge has the world record, Again, like ultra running doesn't quite have that spotlight yet, but through events like this and brands diving into it, spending money, really going and getting like myself, Alexander, obviously you saw Sibu break it, Joe Fukuda, who's a 2:09 marathoner, Japanese guy, and then Kitema, he's former world record at the 50K. Yeah. You get like these guys, and also Junpei Yamaguchi is a 100K world record or 100K world champion from 2024. You get 6 guys like of that caliber, trying to chase a record. It's like, you kind of get the ball rolling in this sport. So that was really cool. And yeah, for me, it was kind of a no-brainer once we were able to make the numbers work. So, pretty cool process.
Like you said, this wasn't an official record because of some small technicalities, but it was all built off the shoe.
Yeah, man.
And this is the Prime X Evo, which we have got word Running Warehouse will be one of the very few places you'll be able to get these, very, very limited quantities. But these aren't built for everyone. These were built specifically for you guys.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about like that whole process of early on development, protos? How many pairs of these did you try on? Were you in the lab?
Yeah, so we're in the lab in Herzo. I myself took 3 trips to Herzo. One was late March, another one was late May, then another one in July. and then the event was late August. But yeah, I just kind of started as we're going to go for this event. Like, we're not necessarily going to go by all the World Athletics rules, so we can play with pacers. We're going to have like shoe tech, with, we could have multiple plates. We're going to have possibly higher stack foam. You're going to have bottles whenever you want it. It was also kind of tied in with a Mercedes AMG and them going for the supercar track record. So it's going to be on a racetrack in Italy. It wasn't necessarily set up for the race itself. Like, the location wasn't set up for perfect racing, because we ran it at midnight. Hot, it's humid in the south of Italy in August. So it's like, we're going to do a lot of heat protocol. We're going to do heat chamber testing, all that. But through the process of all this testing and like getting to test the shoes, initially we looked at the first pair I wore was two versions of basically the Evo, Evo 2 40 mil stack, different plate stiffnesses or rod stiffnesses at that point. That was the first trip. Second trip was 3 versions, and don't quote me, I think it was 240 mil, 150 mil, different stiffnesses in the 40 mil, similar stiffness in the 50 mil. And for me, we're doing the volume of oxygen reading on the mask at 545 pace. And for me individually, I was doing basically 20% lower oxygen consumption in the 40, in the 50 mil stack height. So, this basically stack height right here that we have, that came to, I guess what is the retail version. And then the third trip, we had 3 different stiffnesses. I had 3 different stiffnesses of rods and different foam stiffnesses. So tested that ultimately, like, for me individually, I was going to have the lowest oxygen consumption with the softest foam that they had and the stiffest rods. And then I even went back to Boulder when I partnered Stride Running. We tested a version of same foam, like the first and second stiffest, like little saucer plates. What they decided on is basically like a hollowed out plate, just to give that stability, because it's with this stack height, it's not the most stable. Yeah, like you don't want to go cutting in these, or trying to dodge people in this. This is good for.
You're not getting the Heisman in that thing.
No. No chance. So, So I mean, to answer your question, Connor, probably for me, probably 9 to 10 pairs.
Wow.
Of different iterations of this. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's it was definitely the coolest project I've ever been on. You grow up as a kid and be like, oh, it'd be cool to be, testing prototypes of, brands and stuff. And it's like, we're literally doing a massive, partnership with Adidas and AMG, and you're testing what's going to be probably the best shoe ever made. And yeah, I mean, it was super, super special, man. So yeah, through the 3 trips, heat chamber testing as well. That was some of the worst experiences of my life, because they're throwing us in the climate chamber, jacking up the humidity to 90%, 2 hours in that thing. Even just through iterations of it, like the initial shoe and Harry, I believe you've met Harry over in Harzo. One of my favorite people, but the initial heel tab cut, this is much softer, cut into my heel so bad, the last 75 minutes, I was just I bled through one of the shoes. So just and literally they went ahead and took the shoe, made that same day, cut out the heel, tried to soften it, add different parts to it, just so we could do a night run the next day in the shoe. So they move super quick, super agile. It was all hands on deck from Adidas, which from their entire innovation team, Mark, who's their head of innovation, down to Harry, Margarita, who's kind of on the apparel side, Julian's kind of head footwear. And even now, to this day, those guys are a WhatsApp away if I have questions. So yeah, it was just the sickest project for sure.
I think a lot of people don't realize how much goes into the shoes beforehand. We've all done these testing rounds and got on the treadmill, and it is interesting to see how different every runner can be. So I'm sure a lot of the athletes that you were lining up with didn't quite have the same preferences, didn't test quite as well. I feel like we're probably pretty similar. I tend to do better with a softer foam, and I like a stiff shoe. But everyone is different, and I think also there comes a point when you start dialing 10 protos down to maybe 2 or 3, and they're very, very close in efficiency. Then it sometimes comes down to, okay, maybe you get 0.1 better in one shoe, but one feels way more comfortable. And sometimes going with the comfort is going to be more important than maybe that extra 0.1 you'll get.
Yeah, and for me, it's what's that on foot feel? And even like, going back to like just shoe testing, even looking at the 40 mil, the 50 mil, like Katema, he did not like the shoe. Ultimately, that's what he wore because like they were able to convince him like, no, you're X% more efficient. He also doesn't speak English, so we had translators and stuff. This is kind of a funny story. Like one of my college teammates, Obsal Ali, NCAA steeplechase champion, he speaks Aroma, however you say it, in Ethiopia. So like I FaceTimed, the translator was like in a meeting, whatever. It was an Adidas employee that they brought over. So I FaceTimed Obsa to translate, which is kind of funny. And he was just like, no, he does. He's like, no, he does not want that shoe. No, like don't put it. He's like, it's too high, it's too unstable. Ultimately, like they convinced him, like you're X% more efficient. Like it's gonna save your legs. Whatever. He also had kind of a hamstring issue, and like supposedly helped his hamstring based on like the tracing of they put the dots on you and such. It was awesome. And again, too, for me, like all the numbers, and I agree with you. Like, and we were talking prior to this where like, we tested speed suits, we tested different half tights. They had the 3D Climacool top, which were great. And then wanted to, what if the speed suit, helps you, like holds you in, like holds your back a little more. Cause I have kind of a tighter, like my right lower back is chronically like just tight, kind of pulls sometimes. So like, well, what if we can support your back through this? I'm like, I don't want to wear a speed suit. I don't really care. Like I hate feeling constrained. So ultimately, like we didn't go with that. We all wore the half tights and the Climacool 3D top. But for me, all the numbers line to the stiffer plate, softer foam. You're the most efficient in that, which is what I preferred as well, which is awesome. So the numbers made it no brainer. But again, had I felt better in a different shoe, but like, oh, you might be a little better on this one, I'd probably say like, nah, this feels better on foot. So
yeah,
and they gave me that leeway too, like they took all of our inputs, and I was pretty stern with what I thought. So again, they were on board with that.
So you got shoe. Now it's race day. What ends up going? Were you in your head thinking, I'm breaking 6 today, I'm taking the win? What's your game plan?
Yeah, my game plan was like relax, just be as calm as possible. Stay awake because it was midnight. I was on a different sleep protocol. I was staying up to like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., going to sleep, waking up at 2, 3 in the afternoon, and then going about my day. For me, going in was like, it's a long race. Like sit behind the pacers. It was a collab with Mercedes, so we had G-Wagons pacing us. We had bikers with bottles whenever we want. So it's like hit your nutrition, just tuck in, don't do anything stupid, relax. Like, and this pace is, don't get me wrong, it's a hard pace, but it's like we can all be able to hold it. We should all be able to hold it for a long time. Obviously, these shoes are helping a lot. So like just relax, like kind of shoot the crap with the boys if they feel like it. So that was a game plan going in, but truthfully, it for me got way harder, way earlier than I would have liked. I don't know if it was just like the timing of it. I was obviously had adjusted to the time as much as I could like that, but like my body was still probably maybe in Boulder a little bit, even after 4 days of full time there. So all of us had bathroom stops at some point just because with fueling running at midnight, you got to have something the day prior. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just like, if you do have to hit the bathroom, it's like, do it quickly and then work your way up gradually. So that was really just my approach. And unfortunately throughout it, I had 5 bathroom stops, which definitely, again, I tried to have the same type of food that I usually had. And for me, it's like, this is how the time lined up where midnight in Italy was 4 p.m. in Boulder. And that's usually when I'll shake out around 4 p.m., depending when my first run finishes in the morning, which is around typically 8:39-ish, maybe 9:30, then I'll push it back a little later. And for me, again, tried to eat the same food that I do, but like when I shake out, I'm going maybe max 6 miles at 7-minute pace, 7:30 pace, which again, my stomach is completely fine doing that. But when I'm trying to go, so I'm doing an easy 10K in the afternoon bowl, it's like I'm trying to times that by 10 plus exponentially faster. So I think it's where I had my stomach issues. And also I was trying to do 150, 160 grams of carbs an hour, which is more than most people do. I was definitely doing more than everyone else there. Just because for me, it's like if I can be more efficient, like not blow up and handle those carbs, I think we'll be in good shape. But long story short, I was just like, approach it, chill out, be in the back, get my fluids in, stay cool. Even though it was a little breezy, which definitely helped. We got a good weather day. It was still really humid, like 85, 90%, but it was cooler, like 70 degrees. We were thinking it'd be like 80. So for me, it was just check all those boxes early. But I honestly felt terrible, like 50K. I'm like, this is not not going to be old, but it's one of the things where it's like, just stick in it. Like you're not dropping, like no matter what, you're not dropping. So, and stuff will like start to shake out. So that's kind of how, at least that was my earlier approach to the first half. So.
And even with all those issues, you still ran, 6:03 and the second fastest 100K ever, I think?
6:03.47, number 2 all time, unofficially. And then, fastest American ever. And that was the thing, too, that kind of kept me in it was like, and again, I was never going to drop out unless they pulled me. Like, I would start running 9-minute pace. Like, get me out of there. It's just not worth it. I don't want you guys sitting around for another, 2 hours to finish. But for me, sitting in there was like, all right, like, it got to a point where I had a bathroom stop at about 65K. It was my last one. Me and Joe Fukuda, Japanese guy, Joe's like, he's like, bathroom, gotta go bathroom. I'm like, I'll hit it with you. I gotta kind of go. Sadly, I gotta go again. So we peel off. I'm like, all right, Joe, like we can work together to catch up. And Joe just like guns it and catches, like shoots the gap right away, probably back 15, 20 seconds. And I gradually worked my way up. And eventually I kind of closed, but then Cebu started to pull away and pace started to drop a little bit. Forgot where I was going with this, but so ultimately I'm like trying to check my time. I saw like Katama drop out. Joe and Cebu kind of took off again, like started to get farther away. It was kind of me and Alexander. Alexander started to gap me, but even then I'm at like 45. Even before 50 miles, I'm like, dude, still a lot can happen. So, and in my head, I was like doing the mental math of, bro, if you can run 6-minute miles, you're still going to get under the world record, and you're especially going to get way under the American record. That's what kept me in it late. Ended up catching Alexander the back end of, right at the start of the very last lap. It was 12.5K, so 8 loops total. Caught him going into maybe it was even into the 7th loop. Then Joe ended up kind of blowing up, falling off, and DNF'd. Katama's hamstring was blown up. I'm like, maybe I can run down Cebu. You never know what can happen in the last, 25K of an ultra. But again, he had the legs. Obviously, like the shoes, the tech, everything helped greatly to get. Like, I don't think if we didn't have these shoes, we're probably still nobody probably breaking 6 hours. I would guess, at least based off my, I'm jumping everywhere. Based off my last 100K race, I was 3 minutes slower. Wow. 3 minutes and whatever change. It's like, so probably worth maybe about that. Obviously different scenarios, but for me it was like just get to the finish line and like just finish. You're gonna get for sure under the American record, and that's again it's a cool stat line. The job there was to break 6 hours. I didn't do that, so it's a little disappointing to me. Again, still like hell of an event. Like stoked to be a part of it. I just felt like I let a lot of people down because like we had these trips, we had like all this testing, and I still didn't get it done. So again, I felt disappointed in that. But again, like. Ton of support, which is great, and they still weren't.
But it is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
And maybe in an official race, because I think that's where when we hear 6 bathroom breaks, if you can get that dialed in.
Yeah.
With the shoes, with everything. I guess though you won't be able to technically wear these shoes in a record attempt.
Nope. So I wasn't able to wear those for my last race. It's cool I jumped to that, but yeah, I wore an Evo 2, pair of Evo 2s. Like a development pair with the same plate that's in these actually. World Athletics approved, so completely legal. But had the foam that I was best in and the plate that I was best in the stiffness, just in a 40 mil stack version. And ran 6:07. So I got the American record a few weeks ago. But it's like it's all kind of coming together. It's just again, I'm not a patient person, and like with the 50 miles, like see, I'm gonna go on a tear. I'm gonna light this on fire. And it just sometimes doesn't go that way. So, again, still just a awesome event. It was something that, again, once the numbers made sense, it's like, yeah, you can't not do this because I would have had, if I had the opportunity and ultimately didn't do it, I would have had massive FOMO and probably regretted it. So,
what's your favorite distance? It doesn't have to be an ultra distance. It can be any distance.
Yeah, honestly, 50K or marathon.
Yeah.
I mean, just the marathon's the marathon. It's the kind of glamour event of road running, far and away. So, I still like to kind of stay connected to that in some capacity, with at least in training. Or 50K. I think it's just far enough where people start to kind of question themselves beyond a marathon. And for me, I'm like, it's only 8K more. I'm not worried about this at all. So, it's probably my favorite. But I'm just like, where can I be the most competitive on the global stage? And it's gonna be the road ultra scene, like. 100K, and ultimately 50K world championships got postponed to March. Not going to do that, but I think if I can compete on the global stage in those distances, or especially the 50K, that's.
Yeah. What's the next big thing you got coming up?
Comrades.
Yeah,
is a big one. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. So that'll be Yeah, it'll be awesome. So
have you done that one before?
No, first time. I was gonna do it 2024. I want to do it after the marathon trials, but that was when my labrum was messed up, so I had to pull. This past year, I wanted to do it as well, but didn't make sense with. Was actually gonna do it with Nike Nedbank team, and then was negotiating with Adidas as well. And I'm like, well, we have this event in August, and then Comrades is June. Wouldn't have made sense. Like that's too tight of a turnaround to like probably get injured. Like I don't want to go do a road ultra with a ton of vert, relative to fast road ultras, and then try to come back and time trial a 100K. So I don't want to risk the injury. And like I've tried to come back too quickly after ultras, and I think it's where I got myself in trouble in 2024. Is just back to back to back trying to string everything together, and again, that's where I got myself in trouble. So first. Long answer to your short question, but yeah, Comrade's first time this year.
That's awesome. Who are you talking to about the course and everything? I'm sure you're talking to people who have done it before.
Yeah, so my buddy Jeff Burns, he's run it before. He's a physiologist, for USOPC down in Colorado Springs. He's run it before. He's been top 10 there. My friend Courtney Olson, she has the women's 100K American record. She's run it. She was 9th last year, 3rd the year prior. And then with the boys from like Adidas, just chatting like who they know, who've done it and all that. So yeah, I got a pretty good crew. So and then Adidas has connections down there as well. So his buddy's Q Walker. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a commentator on like all the races down there in South Africa. So he's the one who connected me with the Nedbank crew. Or he knows knows the guys there and knows teams there. So definitely people on the ground there, and just through the Americans that have done it. So
yeah, is there anything part of your training that you're trying to tweak at all?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I'll actually probably ping. We'll see. We've talked about it before, but probably ping actually David Roach a little bit on this. So with obviously it's not over 56 miles, right? 9K. It's not like a massive ton of vert. Like this year's an up year, so it's 6K gain, 4K loss, which is compared to anything else I've done, which is a lot. So I know like David will do these downhill runs, or he'll do runs from Boulder up to Gold Hill, which is basically within 10 miles, 3,000 feet up. So I'll probably do runs where I'll maybe even start up there, run down to Boulder, run back up, have someone drive me home. Just callous the legs and that type of work. Cause I don't do, obviously like when I get a downhill in training, it's great cause you can rip and stuff, but I don't do a ton of like go pound the legs intentionally. In the gym, I do a ton of like eccentric stuff, slow lowering. I've started to do that kind of already in the gym over this past week or so, just like as I kind of reintro like the full strength training. So yeah, definitely changing that a little bit, but not a ton. But the biggest change will be the specific like downhill runs.
Yeah,
so and I know
it really beats you up if you're not used to it.
Yeah, and I know they take a toll too. Like that's my biggest worry is just like my quads blowing up. So and even in Nardo, it was this racetrack. It was cool. It was literally like a NASCAR racetrack, perfect circle, which is great. But one side was like net uphill the entire way, and one was downhill. Like the total elevation gain was like 1,300 feet, so like a fair amount up and down. It was nice because you could definitely roll on the backside as you come into the finish, but it's like you go too hard too early and try to like put too much in the bank. Like judging, we had these to help us a lot and save our legs, but still it's like you're risking just the quad blow up and no power. Like I think that's why you see like guys at Boston, at least in the past prior to super shoes, like obviously they help. Like you go too hard too fast that first half and you have nothing when you're rolling through Newton and Heartbreak, and have nothing the last 4 miles when you actually can pick back up and roll back into downtown Boston. So, so it'll be just kind of training those muscles, just the eccentric contractions and being able to just handle the pounding.
Cool.
So. And I guess the last thing moving forward, you talk about some races coming up, but do you think trail might be something 5-10 years down the road that will we see a Western States? Will we ever see something as crazy as UTMB?
No to UTMB, no shot. If again, this is not a slight at trail people. If you need poles for it, I'm not doing it. Like no shot. Or if you need a nap, no shot. I'd love to do Western States. Just like how prestigious it is. It's the ultra in America, in my opinion. You see, guys like David did his series doing it. Like I think got a lot of attention on it. Obviously, Jim has a course record.
And Adidas has some great trail shoes right now. I would say they're probably the best in the game in terms of trail super shoes.
Yeah, and that's what's cool too, is even like talking to the innovation team there, like, they've worked on the Speed Agravic Ultra 1 and 2. And I think like from what I've heard, and just even like, following David a little bit, it's like that's his go-to shoe. And I think David's a shoe nerd. So for me, if I do want to make the transition, obviously I have, there'd be a conversation with Adidas, but it'd be awesome to transition at some point. Definitely not this year. Definitely not next year. Probably not 2028, maybe 2029. One of my best friends, Kenny, he's a photographer, does some of my content. He's like, bro, I'll go and shoot you for free. No joke. Like, I just want to see you do West. Like, he runs trails all the time. We'll see. Probably 2029 would be the earliest. Maybe Western States 2028. But I think too, like, as long as I can, obviously I haven't broken 216 before, but I think I'll try to stay connected to the road and do the marathon. Like, I think I can, if I just do a full marathon block, I know I can get another OTQ. So I haven't done a full marathon block since 2021, really. Mm-hmm. So, again, I want to keep in touch with that because ultimately I think that helps the road stuff. But eventually, we'll make my way to Western States. But again, 14 hours, man, that's
a long time.
That's a long time.
No, that's on the fast end of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
tough just driving around, like watching. I can only imagine racing that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Best of luck on everything. And I love the fact that you're still connected with, my heart's in the shorter distances, but your background in cross and track and all that stuff is just bitching.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah. It's, like I said, cross is just, you just got to go brawl.
Yeah.
Like, just, go through the mud, the hills, just compete. Also, that's the funnest part of the sport, in my opinion.
Your training is dead on it. Like, I don't know anything about training for ultras and stuff, but I was just thinking in my head on the drive over here, I go, well, it's probably like, when you're doing mileage, miler stuff, you do some stuff 800 mile and like 5K stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, he's probably doing some stuff at his race pace, 5:45, probably 25 miles on occasional Sundays.
Once a week. Yeah.
Yeah, once a week.
Basically, right? Yeah.
And then something faster, maybe like 10 or 12 or 14 at 5:10 pace.
Yeah.
And then maybe some stuff on the track at 4:40 pace or 4:30 pace or something like that.
Yeah, even quicker. I think like I do the same pre-race workout session, like before every race, doesn't matter what it is, like it's a mile hard, 4x400, mile flush. Like that's just what I do. If it's a race on Saturday, I'll do that Tuesday. I don't know why, I just feel good. Like I ran.
It works.
Yeah, the like race week of this last 100K, so basically a month ago, I ran 4:30 opening mile, 162, 62, 62, 58, and then a 5:0 like 7 just to flush. It's like I like keeping that speed in there. Judging, it's like, is that necessarily going to serve me like 100% for 100K? Not really, but it's like if I can make that pace feel as easy as possible, like I think still staying connected to the track is.
But also you're a routine guy, and that's your routine.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what the hell anybody else says. That's what works for you.
Yep, just copy and paste. Like race week is basically the last 10 days of every build, no matter what distance, will probably be the exact same session, like the Wednesday, the Saturday, the Tuesday, Saturday race type thing. So
and that's what Des is going to say. Don't overthink it, right?
Yeah. Don't. Like, what do you want? I mean, it's not going to make a difference at this point, bro. Like, don't mess it up.
So half the battle's just going in confident and ready
exactly
to race. But, I think it's cool because I think for the most part, seeing people like you do this gives other pros, it gives other sub-elites that idea, maybe I could do the ultramarathon and maybe they will be more successful. So it's awesome to see you just continue to crush it, and I'm sure we're going to see some more in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have Kevin's shirt this week.
We don't.
But I did wear this shirt because I thought maybe perhaps you ran this meet in Bethlehem in 2019. I would have Club Cross.
I would have loved to. I didn't. I was I had just
run for Hanson?
I just joined Hanson's, but I was coming off of like CIM and still like I tried to come back too quickly after CIM in 2018. So like the guys I believe did go run that, but I was sitting at home in the cold in Michigan, which was fine. The house again, I didn't have rent, so I was hanging out in the house. I didn't have to pay to live in, but I remember I think like Ian, maybe Ryan Mahalski ran it. I'm trying to think who else might have.
Yeah, I think Jake was like 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, missed it. So
I mean, we not only have shirts this week. We've got a little bit of an upgrade.
Oh, for the giveaway.
For our giveaway.
Yeah, you want to introduce the
giveaway?
Into that?
Yeah, all right. So last week we talked about our good friend Greggy Tahara and all the cool stuff he's been doing.
Yeah, we're going to get him out here. Greg, you're going to watch this and post it on Instagram and all that stuff, but we are going to get you out here in 2020. What year is it? 6?
2026.
Okay, 2026. We will this year.
So we got the speed suit. This is the Greg Itahara special.
Right.
And you're going to look good on the track, on your next turkey try. I don't care what you do.
But it's sound running.
So
it's Jesse Williams and the crew there.
Yep.
And what they do is they have an apparel company that helps fund the track meets.
Yes.
So Sound Running does like the 10 and things like that. So we teamed with them. Running Warehouse teamed with Sound Running, and then also with Greg to come up with this design.
Yeah.
And this is not everyone can sport this. It's a medium.
Yeah.
But if you're interested, tell the people how they can enter to win
So I
this
think
thing.
we
It's
got
free,
to
right?
get fun. We got to get engagement on this podcast. So I'm saying you write in the comments maybe why you deserve to wear the speed suit, where you're going to wear the speed suit. I don't know how you're going to wear the speed suit.
Which party you're going to go to, which dance club.
Yeah. And I'd say we keep it the same. Whoever gets the most likes wins the speed suit.
Exactly. You won't even have to pay for freight or anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I heard Charlie might hop on the comment because he wants that speed suit too. So.
He definitely wants it. Yeah. Exactly. What do we get? Oh, the people. What do we have to have the people do?
Yeah, just keep commenting, liking, subscribing. We keep giving out free shoes as well. So, I mean, as we said, this shoe is coming into stock pretty soon. So
you never know. Yeah.
This could be your free shoe of the week.
But Connor and I actually do read all the comments. We don't comment on the comments, but we comment on most of the comments that deserve a response of some sort.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you can write something, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And we want to thank Charlie for taking the time to visit with us.
Happy to be here. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
And best of luck in South Africa.
Thank you.
And for those that don't know, this race goes one way 1 year and the opposite direction the other year, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yep.
And I think Salazar won that thing 1 year.
Salazar's the only American man to ever win it, so that'd be pretty
as of
cool.
now.
As of now. Yeah. So that'd be pretty cool to have, again, like with the records. I've gotten 2 gyms now.
Yeah.
And regardless, it's like, again, to be up there with Jim, like nothing but respect for him. And obviously Alberto back in his day, it's like just filthy, So you got you respect what he did as an athlete. So it's like if you can put your name up with that, that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, best of luck, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Until next time.
Until next time. What do we do? Peace out.
Peace out.
Yeah.